Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Disc Coverers, the internet's only podcast that reads, reviews, and ranks all 41 of Terry Pratchett's seminal comic fantasy novel series, Discworld. I am your host, Iris J. Pronouns are she or there. With me are my three delightful co-hosts. Why don't you introduce yourselves in alphabetical order?
I am still Belina. I am still she/they. I am just, as always, glad to be here.
Hello, I am the internet's beloved Princess Grace. She, her, fey, fair, if you're spicy, and may be the first one to welcome you all to Terry Pratchett Presents Feet.
Wow.
Hello, I am Juniper. As usual, she, her, and oh my god, I'm so excited. Oh my god.
Yeah, this episode, we're talking about the 19th episode in the series, and the first one where I feel like Terry Pratchett really writes the first real actual Discworld movie, when you think about it.
We only have two modes. Either don't read this book, it's bad, or now this is the first Discworld book if you think about it.
What asshole keeps scribbling the real Dark Souls starts here in front of every goddamn podcast?
Don't give up, skeleton.
But yeah, we read Feet of Clay this time, the third book in the Watch series, and this book was really good, except for one very crucial thing, which was pointed out by I think it was Belina who pointed it out first. This book doesn't have the librarian in it. What's up with that?
Yeah, this is the first one that doesn't have the librarian in it.
Yeah, that's why it's the first good one.
Well, I was going to say, can you really call it a true Discworld book if it doesn't have the librarian in it?
I mean,
I love the librarian.
A lot of these books have, like, someone will just say, we could go talk to the wizards, and everybody else in the room go, God, no! And,
This is the book where they finally listened.
Yeah, for once.
Nobody went to the wizards in this book.
Yeah, like, we get a Ridcully, but he's the religiously inclined one.
Mm-hmm.
This is
the other one.
This is one of my top 3 favorite Discworld books ever. I love this book so much. It is, I fucking adore it. I think it's maybe the first book where you can really talk about Pratchett from a leftist perspective seriously that I get really excited about. I'm so excited. This book is one of my favorite cyberpunk books ever.
Holy shit. Put on your mirror shades and jack in, folks.
How many penis options do the golems come with?
I think as many as they want, really.
Mm-hmm. Very wise.
That's the beauty of sculpture. You can express yourself any way you want to. Mm-hmm. And speaking of expressing yourself, why don't we turn it over to our expert synoptrix, Belina, for a quick rundown of the plot before we begin the delicious discussion. Belina, whenever you're ready, feel free to take it away.
The nobles are at it again. Having realized the carrot would actually be too good of a king to be useful, and worse, he might actually marry a hot werewolf, they've decided to find someone less intelligent and easier to bribe. Oh, and instead of bothering to have Veterinary killed, they're just going to keep him poisoned until he quits for the sake of his own health. They decide on Nobby, and nobody's really sure why they thought that was a good idea. Unrelatedly, a couple of old men and Ankh-Morpork get murdered. This is not itself notable or even uncommon, but there are signs that golems are responsible for it, and people are not happy about this. Golems are even lower on the social totem pole than the undead. They're robots. They're Asimovian robots. The Watch does its thing and starts investigating. They've got a new alchemist on the roster, a dwarf named Cheery. She gets a case of the genders, and we'll probably spend about half the episode talking about that. This is important, the alchemist part that is, because she spends most of the episode doing poison testing. A golem shows up at the watch house, admitting to doing a murder or two, even if it clearly didn't. The confession does lead to the truth, however. A dozen other golems have gotten together, pitching in parts of themselves and as much clay as they could acquire to create Meshuggah as a sort of king golem. Unfortunately, they completely stuffed its head with all of their combined hopes, dreams, and fears, and it goes predictably rampant. It was responsible for both the murders, and also by coincidence, it's the one that's been making the arsenic candles that have been poisoning Vetinari. Few convenient chase scenes, and one to purchase Golem eating his own receipt later. There's a showdown between the Mad King Golem, parenthetical, kings make everything worse as the series continues to prove, and Dorfel, the first liberated Golem, in a candle factory. In the end, the king explodes. Dorfel also explodes, but gets better, and becomes the Disc's first ceramic agnostic. And Vimes gets to throw a Master of the Bazaar in jail after burning his afterlife's work down. Nobody really learns any lessons because everyone who mattered was right all along.
Hell yeah.
Happy ending.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I will note that I wrote in my notes here, Christ Angua, because she is a real asshole to Dorfel for the first chunk of the book.
Yeah,
a lot of people are really, really racist in this book. And, I'm not saying this to bring the book down, because it's all being... it's being portrayed... it's being portrayed, unfortunately, realistically, and because the fact that everyone is looking down on someone is kind of one of the points of the book.
Yeah, it's a book about who gets to be human, who deserves to be human.
Yeah, who gets personhood.
When I joke about it being a cyberpunk book, it's because this book is about robots. This is a book about robots and the sentience. That's what the book is about. It uses magic, but it's that.
Like I said,
are robots people?
Yeah, Pratchett very clearly is interpreting golems as Asimovian robots.
Which we should really quickly do a quick aside of Pratchett also uses specific Jewish stuff for the golems.
Yeah,
there's the whole thing of having a brief piece of religious text in their head. There's the fact that they talk about taking holy days which start at sunset. There's a lot of stuff there that I don't think any of us are really fully prepared to dive into, unless one of us is.
There is a side note here that was over on the L-Space annotations. If you had a UK printing of the book, the golems were not just speaking in caps. The golems were speaking in a specific font that is supposed to look like Hebrew lettering.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, it's very on the nose, which is interesting because the golems are kind of just used for let's tell a story about robots in a lot of ways, though it does take a lot of stuff. The whole thing about them not having a voice is, I believe, a direct reference to Jewish mythology with the golem. I don't feel like Pratchett fully dove into Jewish mythology to make this accurate. I feel like he just found a cool thing and ran with it. But it's a lot less terrible than other stuff where he's found a cool thing and ran with it.
Yeah,
I'd really love to talk about it with someone who really knows this stuff, but as we've seen in Interesting Times, it could be a lot worse than him being oh, they're robots. Yeah, I could tell a story about robots that have vague concepts of sentience.
Yeah, they talk about someone told a golem to fetch water and it kept bringing water until it flooded the place, and that is apparently an actual Golem of Prague story.
Yeah, that later got adapted 100 different ways and eventually found itself in Fantasia because, Disney is a katamari of every mythology and every folklore story and whatever they can get their grubby mitts on.
Yeah, basically.
It's something I'd love to talk about with someone who is more historically inclined and also more Jewish than I am, but for now I'm just going to say it's a choice that mostly just kind of adds some level of flavor and feels a bit strange, but is not nearly as bad as it could be, as we've seen in the past.
I like that Terry at no point in the story goes and this is an analogy for Jewishness or anything. He talks about they come from somewhere, there is a specific culture that they're from, there's a specific language, and it's that's... The story just kind of sidesteps it. And, I don't know if... Terry was not Jewish, so I don't know if him interfacing with that more would have made for a better book. We have kind of a track record where the answer is no, it wouldn't have.
I kind of had this one... I made an offhand remark that I thought was going to end up being a joke when I was reading this the first time through. Well, you know what I mean. But seeing an offhand reference to a kosher butcher and going, that's funny. I don't think I want to think too hard about the idea that there must be Judaism in in the Discworld, and then like 3 seconds pass and go, oh right, this is about golems. I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
But like, if we weren't, I mean, this is a passion thing. We're doing this because it's fun. We're not doing this because it's a job. I feel like this is one of those episodes where we could have really used a guest star if we were the kind of people that could arrange that sort of thing more in advance. Because,
if you'd like to come on the podcast to do a guest star about specifically your knowledge of Jewish mythology and the myth of the golem and your love of the book Feet of Clay and want to talk about this, message us.
Yeah, we'd love
Send
that.
us an email.
Yeah,
Maybe
email us.
we'll figure it
yeah,
out.
we've done a bonus episode.
Jacob Geller, please message us. If you haven't, for the record, incidentally, if you would actually like to research more, Jacob Geller did a fantastic video on the myth of the golem. It's really fantastic. Extremely recommend it. You can find it on his YouTube channel.
Put
great
that on the
stuff.
show notes.
Put it in the show notes. Reference
I'll
this
make a
to
note.
understand what kind of Pratchett just kind of decided to do his own version of without fully understanding, I think. But also, it's a pretty cool version.
Yeah, he very clearly he knew what stories he wanted to tell here, and again, you putting a few simple instructions into their head and hoping that it all works out is the Asimov thing. Like the 3 laws of robotics were a thought experiment, and Asimov's entire career was based on these 3 laws have so many goddamn holes. It's not an impenetrable wall. It's at best a chain link fence. Please, please, please think more about this.
With the whole thing about that covered, like, I think in a broader sense, in regards to the whole this is a story about robots thing, like, it's interesting how a story about robots, all stories about robots are essentially stories about labor. And this book has a lot of thoughts about labor, and also a lot of thoughts about control. Who gets to control who?
Yeah.
We kind of touched on it in our little pre-summary talk, but I think it's really interesting that there's a lot of people being racist in this book, but there's always kind of a point to that. Like, we see these characters who are by no means at the top of the heap in terms of the social strata, but they always have another group of people who they're like, oh yeah, well, I may catch a lot of heat, but I'm definitely more of a person than this other group. Like, Cheery is trans, and that's a point of personal distress for her. But at least she's not a werewolf. And Aang was a werewolf, but at least she's not a golem. And golems can't talk for themselves, so we don't know who the hell they think they're above. They don't see themselves as above anyone. That's the whole thing about them. But yeah, this is the first Discworld book that I feel like has something actually interesting to say about fantasy racism outside of, well, it's clearly bad.
Yeah.
Or alternately, it's completely justified, and I think everybody should think that, like they did in Interesting Times.
It's extremely interested in kind of the idea of, like, what's dividing these people, why, and who's actually responsible for it. This book hates the upper class so much. I love
God,
it.
it so does.
It's wild seeing Vimes, who still has his prejudice against the undead, but he's willing to be anti-racist out of spite.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go hire some vampires right now was such a good bit.
Go hire some
We
zombies.
gotta get some zombies
he
in
draws
here.
a line of vampires.
Oh, right. No vampires.
But
He
he
wanted
was okay with
zombies.
hiring some zombies.
We'll get to
And even
vampires later.
like, spoiler alert, vampires get into the watch later, so even that's not, like, set in stone. In this book, it's interesting that vampire in this book is very much the old school literary tradition of vampire, where they are a stand-in for the undying, inhuman desires of the nobility. They are exactly what you're scared of from an aristocrat. It's somebody who comes from a long, long lineage and sees themselves as just inherently superior to you, and basically sees other people as cattle, as tools to an end.
Which I love the villain in this book. I
God.
love what a shitty little asshole he is. I love the reveal at the end that his entire thing is just he sees all of Ankh-Morpork as his personal breeding project. And he's mad that Carrot's dating a werewolf. Like, the stupidest, fucking pettiest reason. But he doesn't care, because he's in the upper class. It doesn't matter to him. He doesn't have to care about any of this.
There's one little
It's not
aside there that where it makes it point out that he actually would be kind of interested to see what would happen, but because he feels like nobody else would, he's just not even going to entertain the notion.
Yeah. It's not even like he has aspirations of power, because what else could he possibly want in life? He is in the perfect situation for him to keep going and continuing whatever he does forever. So this is literally just a weird, petty bullshit thing that he's willing to poison the fucking patrician over.
Right. He doesn't...
It just boggles the mind.
He doesn't need any more power. He already has it because he's in the upper class. In the previous books, there was this idea of like, well, we need a king to do all this stuff. But here it's like, I don't care about that because I'm already like as powerful as I need to be. I'm a rich fucking vampire. Instead, I'm just doing this for dumb, petty reasons because I hate you. He sucks.
And also because he's an immortal eugenicist.
Yeah, no, he is an immortal eugenicist. An immortal eugenicist obsessed with puns.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, which
yeah.
If you weren't convinced by the immortal eugenicist thing, I mean, the puns thing, that should really be the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, like, I will admit I put down the book and groaned when, like, oh, it's a Poisson lamp.
Yeah, I said off air that I wish they hadn't explained that one. I wish it had ended at Vimes just going, "You son of a bitch! You put that in front of me thinking I wouldn't catch it, and you were right."
Yeah, I think that was funny, but I think the bit where like Vimes translates it into the art brought forth a candle in Latin. It's oh god, where was it?
I love that I can hear so many bookmarks in that.
Like, it has anthrax in there, right? That's the... Or
No, it
arsenic.
was... It's arsenic, yeah. Yeah, here it is. Arsenicsia, or arsenixa est candelum. Arsenixa.
Oh!
It is
There we
a
go.
Latin pun, which is even worse than a regular pun.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a fucking groaner. And, like, I love it, like... One thing I will say in relation to that about just, like, the book craft of this story, this is maybe the most tightly jigsawed together Discworld book I think we've read yet. Everything that came up early on in the book came up for a reason. Even the stupid jokes still had a reason in the later parts of the book. Whereas, you know, we've talked at length about how, like, you know, in so many Terry Pratchett books, like, the ending just comes out of nowhere, plot threads don't go anywhere, jokes sort of just land. It's like, this one, it was like a Swiss watch. Everything locked together with everything else.
Early on, there's a character who talks about losing his job at the candle factory to a golem. And when he asks what his job is, he's an end teaser.
Oh my god!
Which is funny until you realize that that's actually the plot of the entire book.
Yeah.
I was also thinking about the whole, like, detritus raiding Igneous the Troll's pottery place and also erstwhile drug running outfit early on in the book. And it's like that was a neat scene, but it really you're in it and you're like, oh, this is just a way to illustrate, like, working conditions for golems and what golems are, and this is probably isn't going to come up again until it does way later on in the book when we have to bring Dorfel back to life.
There is a load-bearing footnote at one point where they're saying that it's like a multiversal thing that every policeman thinks that they can identify a drug by tapping it with their finger and then licking it off the fingertip. And then much later on, the detritus does that with a statue full of slab and goes, wait, did I just... Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the room's not actually full of spiders, right?
Yeah.
Carrot actually does it too with the sugar.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's what makes it come up.
Yeah. It's very tightly wound. It's also actually a pretty good mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they give you the what's going on at the beginning. This guy is trying to decide to make Nobby king for some baffling reason. So the book isn't who's the bad guy, it's the shithead. It's obvious at the beginning. It's what's really going on. What's the further mystery? Why are the golems involved? It's all of the other pieces, and seeing them come together is actually really fun.
Yeah, it's really good seeing, like, Vimes approach the end of his wick as he puts it more and more together, and you're figuring out alongside him.
Yeah.
It's really good. And this book had a lot of, like, we were talking about this earlier on, where sometimes Pratchett writes like he's describing a movie or something. Like, it's very, like, he describes what would be like sight gags or whatever in a movie, which are weird to do in a book, but he really sells them. Like, there's a number of them that are really good, but the one that really stuck with me was like when they think that someone's poisoning the food as it goes up in the dumbwaiter. Vimes is like, he's talking to Carrot or whatever, and he's like, okay, so you're holding the tray, and you've got the stuff on it, and the condiments, and like, they're just imagining all this stuff, and then, like, okay, I got it, and then Carrot, like, looks for a place to set down his imaginary tray.
Yeah. Or the gag of, no, sir, you just picked up the imaginary pepper.
Yeah.
It's really funny, too.
Like,
I really love this book.
I do want to also add on with the weird jarring cinematography. Dorfel goes on this fucking drug trip when he eats his receipt. And the weird nonsense imagery actually works really well in that context because it reads like nothing else in the book, and this is the part that would be animated in a live action adaptation.
Yeah.
Because this part is impossible to properly describe, as like his entire worldview / head / entire state of being explodes around him, and he's forced to put it together like some kind of Dr. Manhattan.
That was such a cool segment. It really was like, it felt like the story was really kicking into high gear after that. That was really cool. And it really stands out in a book that's otherwise very grounded in reality and detective work and like keeping shit kind of stuck firmly within the real. It makes me excited for future ventures into the cosmic, considering that Terry is this good of a writer now.
Also, if you wanted more proof this book was like a lot more filmic, you could say, L-Space points out that the whole scene in the candle factory is a shot-for-shot remake of the end of Terminator 2.
Oh my god!
That whole scene is just a ton of Terminator 2 and Terminator 1 references.
Back together.
Hanging over the
vat. Yeah, I mean, there was
Dorfel outright does a RoboCop reference at the end.
I was gonna say, undead or alive, you are coming with me.
There's
not just
so
that.
Many RoboCop
State your rules.
References of this.
Serve the public trust. Defend the innocent.
Prod arse.
Seriously, prod buttock. It's
Terry Pratchett is still an absolute doofus, even if he's gotten very good at what he does.
Yeah. I will say, I find that I do love how grounded this book is in its mystery, though. Like, the mystery for a good portion of the book is just pretty obvious. How is the patrician being poisoned? How is that happening? And they go through all of these theories that are mostly taken from other mystery
life. Like,
books.
there's a recurring like joke about how, like, man, all the rooms that the patrician stays in have this horrible looking green wallpaper. What's up with that? Where in real life, a lot of people back in the Victorian era got arsenic poisoning from green wallpaper. There was a very specific color of green that was made using arsenic.
Like, that's one year how Napoleon died.
Yeah. I have a book about it,
Suppose
Bitten by
it's a
Witch
rumor.
Fever, that has a bunch of reproductions, not actual wallpaper samples, but like reproductions of wallpaper from the period and what was trendy at the time, with notes on how these led to mysterious slow poisonings across the entire country of Britain.
Okay, so I now know for a fact that Britain has covered their walls in lead paint, arsenic paper, and dead mummies. Is there any?
Yeah.
Are there any other weird illicit substances that they killed themselves with that I should know about?
Did you ever see that one thread about like why a lot of British houses have separate taps for hot and cold water, and it's because like you can't trust the hot water to be clean because there might be dead rats floating in your hot water tub, and you might give yourself Legionnaire's disease.
I
You
actually
can't use
did
an
know
exit
that
tap.
one.
Also, they used to use horsehair to build up the interior of walls before we had drywall. So I guess if you're allergic to dander, that could be a problem too.
I guess that. I'm sorry, that one's not nearly as weird as using mummies. So
Yeah, it's something.
yeah, it's something. I'm sure this is a lifelong journey I'm on.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
like the thing about it's the fall in London problem where like they'll
Yeah.
describe like something fucked up, like, oh yeah, we're eating jellied eels, but that's just something they do in England.
No, eel pie was a common low class food. They make jokes about that in Final Fantasy XIV, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
England is stranger than fiction. It's
Yes.
a fact.
Yes.
Yeah. Eeling is real?
But yeah.
It's a good mystery. It's pretty solid in the like trying to figure it out. Also, I think thematically it works really well with Mrs.
God,
Easy.
yeah.
That kind of being a moment of realization, and also bringing the book from this sort of like vague, oh, something bad might be happening to Vetinari, to this immediate, this is murder.
Vimes
This
just
is
goes ballistic
killing
for the rest
people.
of the book,
And,
and that's
like,
wonderful.
It's
Yeah.
it's great because like
Yeah, and God, it's
Like-
so good.
there's a bit where he's talking to the candle guy, Mr. Carey, and he's like, okay, like, he's like, you can't charge me. The patrician hasn't even died yet. And then Vimes is like, I mean, sure, the patrician hasn't died, and that's really kind of a side thing with this old lady and this kid down on Cockbill Street. They died from these candles, and that makes this a murder investigation. And the guy's like, oh, were they anyone important? Or no, he was talking to Carrot, and Carrot's like, wow, you know,
Yeah, and-
I almost felt sorry for you for a second. It's a good thing you didn't say that to Vimes, because he would have killed you right there. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Dragon King of Arms actually says like a very similar thing. I think this conversation
Yeah.
basically
Yeah,
happens
each
three
with like
times in the book.
upper crust people,
Vimes is just
and just
Yeah.
being like,
fucking
and like
mad
both
about
in
it.
terms of old money and also like the nouveau riche, like rich merchant owners class. I think it happens with
Yeah.
the guy in basically the sweatshop as well.
Yeah, because, like, in case you didn't realize this book is about class, there you go.
Yep. I'm trying to find the specific thing that. Yeah, no. There's a moment that's just Vimes talking to Carrot. It's people are dead. Captain Mrs. Easy's dead. Carrot, who, sir? Vimes, you've never heard of her? Carrot, can't say that I have, sir. What did she used to do? Vimes, do? Nothing, I suppose. She just brought up 9 kids in a couple of rooms you couldn't stretch out in, and she sewed shirts for 2pence an hour, and every hour the bloody gods sent, and all she did was work and keep to herself, and she is dead, Captain. And so's her grandson, aged 14 months, because her granddaughter took them some grub from the palace. Bit of a treat for them. You know what? She thought I was going to arrest her for theft at the damn funeral, for God's sake. It's murder now. Not assassination, not politics. It's murder.
Yeah.
He's so fucking mad about that in this way that just
Yeah.
resonates in the book.
This is why Sam Vimes would not last 5 minutes as a police officer in our real ass life, because pointedly he is not in it to protect the interests of the rich landowning classes. he is in it to protect, like, the fucking people.
Yeah,
the interests of the city.
Yeah, he even says, like,
Cough, cough. This is what the entire book Night Watch is
yeah,
specifically
like,
about.
he even says
Cough,
something
cough.
like, look, you're all bastards, but I figure, I figure the rich and powerful have it good enough, so I gotta put my finger on the scale the other way.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to just take a moment to point out here the fact that Mrs. Easy is somebody that Carrot didn't know. This is like the only time in the entire book that's going to happen, in the entire series that's going to happen. She kept to herself to such a degree that she never met Carrot.
The way that Vimes talks about that entire, just like Cockbill Street in general, and all of this stuff, it's really, really well written and really.
It feels like
kind of
the most
meaningful.
British thing in this book in a particularly personal and tragic way. Not as in a joke way, but as in like, oh man, this is probably like, this is probably, I don't know, I don't know what Terry's situation was growing up, but it felt like it was like writing either from experience or from like other people's experiences. But like the idea of like, we are extremely destitute, but we are so proud that we will never admit that. We have got to keep a stiff upper lip on this shit, even in the face of reality. And that's what makes it more heartbreaking when other people treat those people like they're disposable. This is like in the sweatshop thing where like they're talking to the owner of this sweatshop and he keeps golems around to turn the treadmills for the sewing machines, but he uses people to sew. And he's like, oh yeah, they're from Cockbill Street. They'll work for cheap there. Right? They're happy to get the jobs, they're happy to be here. And like, it's so like the amount that the ruling class just doesn't see these people as anything other than grist for the mill is so nakedly apparent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's interesting that like this book kind of doesn't. This book isn't nearly as mean about just like random people in Ankh-Morpork as the previous ones are. The shitty people in this book are the rich. Every single time. They're the people who own the stores. They're the people who own the factories. They're the people who go to the fancy fucking balls and all that stuff. It's always them. It's never just like, oh yeah, no, well everyone sucks actually. And it gets into vibes of that at times. There's still stuff in this book to criticize for sure, but like the point of the book, the arrow of anger is almost always pointed directly at the people in charge.
I was thinking this, like, a lesser book would spend, like, a lot more time while it's like, well, are the golems really people? But, like, no, like, he gets it right away. Like, he knows what he's talking about. Like, the answer is obviously yes. Yeah.
The answer is yes from the beginning, and people are weird about it, mostly because they are also being mistreated or because they're
There's
rich
a
fuckers.
very brief mention about malicious compliance.
Yeah,
about how the golems, that have this reputation of just doing a task and doing it endlessly and saying, they probably know what they're doing here.
Yeah.
They're not stupid. They know that you didn't want to dig a trench from your front yard into the nearest ocean, but you didn't tell them not to do that, and you treat them like property. So when those when the only words you give them are orders, then that's going to be how they push back in their own little way, whether consciously or unconsciously.
Yeah,
it's
like when you work them 24 hours a day telling them to push this thing, or they mentioned some of them get like sealed up in walls or whatever.
Yeah, God.
Or like, hey, wade through this poison all day or whatever. And then you get one that, makes 500 tables and nails 17 legs on each of them, I wrote malicious complaints in my notes.
Yeah, and it gets brought up briefly and then just completely dropped. And I don't know. I just lost where I was going with that. But
it's interesting. The whole like Carrot is so immediately on the side of the golems. Like, almost instantly, as soon as he can, he wants to see Dorfel freed and embrace himself. As soon as Dorfel comes into the office, basically. It's...
Yeah, no, what I was going to mention was the fact that the golems bring up holy days, and you have to let them go do whatever it is they're doing, because, it's a religion that nobody remembers, and we have no idea what their schedule is. And it's very, very clear that the golems are using this to conspire between themselves. Conspire is probably the wrong word, but that's how they were getting time off to go build their golem king. Which, a bunch of people want a king and they get it and everything gets a lot worse. Weird, that can't be a metaphor for something else in this book.
Yo, that almost happened twice in this book, which is wild.
Exactly. Like, I dearly appreciate that Nobby's entire rationale was, I can't do that. Vibes would go spare.
Yeah. A, Vines would kill me. B, anytime someone offers me something that sounds good, it's a trick. No thank you.
Yeah. Sounds like bullshit. You could have him executed, though. Yeah, but then he'd be even more mad. Are you kidding me? That was great.
This book also actually made me cry. The scene where one of the golems kills itself.
Yeah.
Headbreaking first.
That is... It's genuinely really rough to see just overall. And the way it's framed is actually written really well, with the just kind of like slowly realizing what's happening as people
the revelation
run over.
That all of the golems have like some sort of a low-level hive mind. Like they all feel more or less what the others do. Yeah. And they're all connected together with their Golem King, so they know how much it's suffering, and then they realize that it caused those murders, and they just decide to off themselves, because what the hell else can you do when you realize you've screwed up that far?
Yeah. They put all their hope into one person, into one hero, and that hero started murdering people because it was suffering so hard, because it couldn't bear the weight of all those hopes.
Yeah.
That's terrifying. It's awful. And like the whole thrust of the book is like ultimately what Dorfel realizes isn't just that like, oh, I don't need to listen to anybody. It was, you cannot trust someone else to save you. You have to put your fate into your own hands. That is the definition of freedom. I was going to say, not everybody's ready for that definition of freedom. Not everybody is willing to throw off their shackles and shit and just run straight into it. But that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like it's not just about, it's not just like, about like, workers of the world unite. It's like on an inherent level of free will. It's like, you need to understand that this is your responsibility now. We can't wait for somebody to come save us. This is our problem.
Yeah. Under almost any other circumstance, the fact that Dorfel's plan is that he's going to buy another golem, then the two of them are going to go buy a third golem, then the three of them are going to go buy a fourth golem. Under almost any other circumstances, the idea of a race buying its way out of slavery would just be trite and just very hard to swallow, but it's presented here of like, that's really the only real way forward. If they're property, then they're going to have to fix this the normal way. Normal, you know what I mean.
And the only way they can do it too is like, Dorfel's the first golem who's going to get paid, and he makes a point like, you will pay me double. I can work 24 hours a day, never tiring, never ceasing. You know, it's like, I am a valuable asset for your organization. Have you seen my resume?
He could have pushed for triple.
Yeah.
He's doing 3 8-hour shifts a day. But I sort of doubt that there's an 8-hour system in Ankh-Morpork.
there's a lot that you could talk about with the whole we're going to buy ourselves out of slavery, because
it's not perfect, it's not great,
Yeah.
but it is easy to take it in this particular context.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, is that in this specific context of him being like, I want to do this the way that it happened to me, in this fair way that like it makes sense for them. It's something that I'm more mixed on this look than I was before, but like also it comes at this moment of kind of just like him having this moment of triumph where I'm going to do it.
Yeah,
that I think
that's my
works in the
point. It's
book,
like I
and
would
that's
not
the
take
main
this
thing I
under
care about.
nearly
Yeah.
any other circumstance. Like the golems just have a price tag on their head. The price tag is something they've kind of had to live with their entire existence. So obviously when he's only had a couple hours to think about it, his first thought is, well, I just got to go make that price tag now, don't I?
Yeah, I just gotta keep doing this. This seemed like it worked pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think it works here. And also, I just love Dorfel in this book so much.
I'm
I
glad
love everything he does.
he achieves sentience and
I love how
immediately becomes a Reddit
much of a
atheist.
snarky asshole he is.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah, but Constable
He's
Visit
so
is so
funny. I
hype
love the
about
joke
it. You
of,
can't
like,
tell him to
They're
stop.
so good
It's
for each
so
other.
funny.
So funny.
Okay, really the best part about that is the fucking golden apple he throws at the end. He says, I'm on duty right now, but if someone would like to talk to me when I'm off duty, which, haha, he's never off duty, get it? But I will happily debate with the best one of your gods. And just boom!
Whoever has the best religion is free to talk to me.
My schedule is very booked. I can only make time for one.
He's really, really kind of a snarky asshole for a lot of the book. He just can't show it, obviously. And then at the end, when he's very able to show it, and all of the stuff he does, from the whole, like, his entire conversation where he's like, with Dragon King of Arms, where he's like, I could kill you right now, but it is my moral choice to not to, so I decide not to,
like,
on my own volition.
Vimes tells him to do something,
funny.
he's like,
so good.
I am doing this of my own free will. I agree with you that it is a good idea. I'm not doing it because you told me.
Yes.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so good.
I love this point. Also, I need to point out just the moment that he comes out of the oven after being put back together, Vimes immediately gives this dude a personal pronoun.
Yeah!
So Dorfel is he from that second forward, even if everybody else keeps saying it.
Yep.
Now, why do they call it oven when you clay in of the oven, of out, eat the Dorfel?
Christ.
Thank you so much, Grace.
I had to come up at some point.
I'm kind of in awe of that. Okay. But yeah, I love him. I honestly, there's a moment of when he's unconscious with no chem, where after the other dwarf kills himself, where it just says the thoughts echoed in his hollow head, clay of my clay, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not die, and that is one of my favorite lines from a Discworld book. It's so fucking evocative and good, and I fucking love this book,
so cool.
and I love him.
Yeah. A lot of pronoun action going on in this book. A lot of talk about pronouns.
Yeah.
A lot of big pronoun
finally
chat.
gonna-
I underlined cheery trans at least
we go.
twice in my notes because, like, I mean,
It's like not even subtext. It's just
Okay.
text.
like
Again,
which is,
Pratchett didn't know this at the time.
Yeah,
he
'cause,
did
like-
not know that he was writing just like the archetypical, like the biggest cluster of trans femme stereotypes.
yeah, because like a weird thing is like early on in the book there's like a weird joke about like, well, you know, Fednar is pretty good. At least he's not that last Patricia that wore a dress.
Yeah, there's a second one later about Lady Salachi giving her gardener old clothes, and you go, yeah, we always kind of wondered about that gardener. Which I guess that one's okay because like you're just saying, huh, that seems a little bit weird, but which fine, whatever. But yeah, it comes up twice in the same book. But
Yeah,
okay.
that was very odd. And it was like, Terry, do you realize, like, Like, is there like a lobe of your brain that's separate from the rest of your brain that's writing
Like,
this? Because like,
Again,
Cherry
here's
is
the thing.
trans.
Like, here's the thing about, like, I think every British comedian has the transphobia lobe, just because it's such a fucking part of their culture, and it takes a lot of work to, like, kill the transphobia lobe in your mind.
It's we hate to say it, but it's called Turf Island for like a genetic anatomical reason.
Like, every British man above a certain age has this, like, man in dress is funny, like, tattooed on their brain.
I mean, I think a lot of that is there is a
this was 1995.
Yeah, no, to be serious,
we could dive into.
it's a cultural historical
Yeah.
thing, not an inherent thing. Obviously,
no.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is a
comedic
complex thing you could dive into the history of.
No,
Yeah.
but we have to say that we're joking because we don't want people we don't want people tearing us apart for this. Like 2 or 3 years later somehow.
I was doing phrenology on all British men. I didn't realize you all were.
But it's interesting because I mean it feels in some ways like Cheery was sort of kind of meant to be that in certain ways, and it isn't.
Yeah.
Instead, it's just trans. It's just lots and lots of bits
You
of someone
accidentally
being
did a
trans
big
and
sympathy,
being coached
and
along
now
it.
we're relating to her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just keeps getting more and more trans. Including with the Angla,
Like, even the fucking line about, like, screaming your new name to the heavens or whatever. Christ, I'm tearing up now.
Knowing that you can do it at a whisper is important. Christ. Again, Pratchett didn't know this at the time. He didn't. That thought never entered his head until some trans folks said, "Hey, I really like Sherry." That's, and he went, "Oh, huh, I didn't think about that, but hey, good on ya." He also didn't have a clue that when he was writing that the Undead Bar was absolutely just a gay bar, but you know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, that entire honestly, that entire segment reads so much to me like older person with very complex gender stuff coaching along more like binary trans woman who is still got some fucked up opinions, but is like trying things for the first time, and you care about her so much, and you want her to be okay,
Werewolf
even when
can
it's
also
complicated.
be a gender.
It really fits that.
Hold up a second. I gotta say this because I came into the furry fandom and I got all my cases of the genders from the furry fandom through transformation stuff.
Yeah.
I think I know one cis werewolf person. Precisely one. Forgot. I thought it was 2, but one of them turned out to be trans recently.
Yeah.
Whoops.
I think I know at least half a dozen trans werewolves. Like,
Shoutouts to Cups of Jade, by the way. I'm fucking proud of you.
Hell yeah! I didn't know that. Fuck yeah! Whoa!
She's been way more open about. She's been super open about it on co-host recently. That's the only reason I'm willing to say that on the air.
Oh,
But
that's so nice! Congratulations!
Love
Yay!
wins.
Love fucking wins.
Which you could argue is what happens in this book as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
But no, look, Angua is like concentrated gender envy for me. So like, I'm gonna stop myself.
She's really great in this book as someone for Cheery to play off of, and Cheery's entire thing of just like, I want to be a girl and such. It's really good. It makes Carrot look really weird and an asshole. This really way that doesn't fit. It's weird, especially because the rest of the book is Carrot is the one person willing to hear out like the idea of golems. It is
very weird to see Carrot be kind of a piece of shit. Like that's a new flex, and part of me is kind of like, well, it's nice that he's not entirely perfect, you know. He still is like, he can still be a fucking asshole sometimes.
We still have to unlearn old habits.
Yeah, especially for him, he's in like kind of a Worf situation where he's not genetically a dwarf, but he is culturally a dwarf, and he tries to carry that dwarfishness into his modern, like, view of the world. So, like, yeah, he's gonna have fucking old-fashioned ideas about, like, dwarf genders. But the problem with that, like, it's one of those, like, equations where, like, the only way to solve it is, well, yeah, he would probably be a fucking asshole about this until somebody who was maybe a little bit more wiser was like, hey, it's weird how you're totally down to, like, empathize and relate to, like, every single citizen in the city, except for the ones who want to trans their gender in a way you don't like. That's kind of weird, right? That's kind of odd, right?
Yeah.
Carrot?
And, like...
he hasn't... the idea of okay, we're doing the thing where we're mixing up sex and gender again, because the idea is that yes, dwarves know that there are two sexes, but they only have one gender as far as their society is concerned. Yeah. That's the real reason why I think he's tripping up, is because you're not just telling him to believe that that women exist. You're telling him that there's an entire other dimension to dwarves he didn't know existed.
And this plays into, unintentionally otherwise, where, like, the whole book has this arc about Angua, like, trying to work up the courage to leave town to leave Carrot, and part of it is her just being like, he's too fucking perfect. Like, if he would just, like, do a police brutality, or, like, like, do one shitty, selfish thing, I would like him a lot more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They'll come back to this in the fifth elephant.
There's a lot of
I don't know. We'll see.
Track laid down here that they will roll on. Like, the fifth element definitely feels like a direct sequel to this book insofar as, like, it's the next one in the Watch series, but it also definitely feels...
Jingo doesn't count.
Next.
I forgot about Jingo. Well,
yeah.
Fifth Elephant feels like a sequel to this book. It feels like Feet of Clay too.
Okay, is it called the Fifth Elephant because it's a play on the Fifth Element?
Yes.
Is that part of the joke?
It absolutely is, and I never realized that until this conversation right here. Until hearing Iris say it out loud, I was like,
I'm only saying this bit because it's on the back of the book. There was a fifth elephant that crashed into the Discworld, and under Uberwald there are literally, like, fat mines and the like, because they're literally digging up the corpse of the fifth elephant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But no, I only now realized it's a Fifth Element reference, which is mostly because I never watched the movie as a kid until, like, recently. Because
you just didn't have that available to you.
Weird conservative parents.
Yeah. You were deprived of a lot of things. A classic movie is one of the more minor ones.
Yeah. Good job, Pratchett. I didn't realize that, Joe.
I hope people are figuring out my puns. Years after I die.
Yeah, it's living the dream.
Yeah, good legacy to have.
Legacy of every now and then someone goes, "Oh God damn it!"
Yeah, exactly.
Ultimate making people smack their own foreheads from beyond the grave. They're still groaning at you. You're not truly dead.
I mean, I really love Dorful and the entire Gollum subplot, and the entire way it's just kind of about, like, not just their sentience, but their position as an exploited class. Love all that. What do y'all think of the Nobby subplot?
Like I said, every bit of this story exists to help other parts. So, like, it's not like there was any part of it that was extraneous or anything. That being said,
Nobby was a distraction. It was very funny that when they're describing that they need, a puppet monarch, that they're very clearly describing current British royalty. Mm-hmm. Like, we need somebody to wave at crowds, to go to state dinners, to receive foreign guests. Yeah, exactly. It's just very clearly we just need some neutered figurehead while we do the actual work.
Yeah. I think that entire thing relies a lot on you finding Nobby is a weird asshole who sucks funny.
Yeah,
which I don't really find that funny. It's not
okay.
Not the funniest.
I came out of this one still not really sure. Do you think that he actually was from a noble line?
I thought the punchline was no, because he has, because when he mentions I'm kind of sad I told him about the ring. I'm not going to tell about the tiara and so on. I interpreted that as my family's stolen a lot of shit.
I feel like it could have been my family stole a lot of shit, or it could have been I had all of this shit too, because we definitely were royal.
Let me propose
it
something
doesn't really say on purpose.
really awful. Nobby as the sort of collective result of like all these ancient royal families sort of like colliding together.
Oh.
Yeah,
like a super Habsburg.
Yeah, and that's why it's hard to even define him as human.
Oh my God.
There is a like they do get into this in the book where like there's even a line about like the last king of wherever was trying to inbreed with himself.
That's well.
Yeah,
Have fun with
good
that.
luck,
Don't
Nobby.
get injured.
I will say, as much as I didn't find a lot of that funny, there were moments that I thought were pretty funny. The entire thing of like Colin getting out of the situation with his lordship has decided that drinks are on him was a pretty good bit. And I will say the ending with them revealing the plot and Nobby just losing it, going, Vimes would go spare. I can't do that. He'll cut off my head. That was funny. That was actually funny.
I am so relieved we did not get a twist in the book that was like, by the way, Nobby is king now. I'm so relieved that Terry has had the foresight to be like, no, we can't do another book where we have a new king. We've done that. We played that trick too many times already. We can't do it again. Nobby refuses. And later, while there's this huge horde of livestock milling around in the streets, he runs into the Udis goat from the slaughterhouse. And he's like, oh yeah, you're also a weird little fucked up guy who's meant to lead all the other cattle into the slaughter. I feel you, man. You and me, we are as one. Mood.
It's pretty funny. And I just find the entire sequence of them trying to be like, well, don't worry. Like, I mean, it won't be an issue. Obviously, we can handle all of this. We could have him executed and all of the stuff that, like, conceivably they could maybe do, and Nobby just, like, single-handedly focused. Kill him. He'd go spare. Like, it's a pretty good bit of just, I can't even imagine a world in which...
Now, I want to put forth a very important point here, because it even comes up in the book that the head of the Lawyers Guild refuses to actually die until he gets like his disbursement from some trivial case of he was running his own defense or whatever. That doesn't matter. The important thing here is that if you kill somebody on the Discworld, they might not fall over.
Yeah.
You could very easily imagine a headless Captain Vimes running around the city, killing every last fucking noble and burning the palace down before he lets death take him away.
Yeah, zombies are a thing.
Undead Vimes.
They've been a thing for quite some time. Like, and like
all you need is somebody with enough of a reason to stay alive. I wonder if Vimes would have enough of a reason to stay alive, like some sort of burning anger or something.
Vimes
could not imagine.
Vimes
the levels.
Vimes would stand right back up, put his head back on, and express some kind of disdain at being, the undead he's racist against.
Okay, scratch what I said earlier. Vimes would punch Death's own head off, grab his scythe, and he'd run around using that to cut down the entire upper class.
It is very good how early on we find out that Vimes is the back when we had kings, Vimes' great whatever was the Discs Cromwell.
Yeah. Killed the last king, and then everyone realized nobody liked him, so they killed him too.
Yeah, though they do leave out the part where the real Cromwell was like, I'm not a king, but also Lord Protector is a hereditary office, which does go to my son.
Yeah, it was...
Yeah,
Cromwell was just kind of making
nice
a pass at
the
big cat, the big chair, more than trying to make things better. I'm not a British history expert, though.
Again, we would have guest stars if we spent time doing meetings and planning this shit instead of it just being four friends fucking around for a couple of hours a month.
Yeah, if we had Big Shot Patreon money, we could afford to do that. But so dear listener.
We don't have a Patreon.
Well, hold on. I specifically did not want money to get involved in this.
Yeah. Yeah, don't support us on Patreon
yeah.
because we don't want to put
Don't
in that
support
kind
us
of
on
work. This
Patreon
is
because
still
none of
just
us made a
bunch of people talking
Patreon.
about this one. However,
This is for
give us
giggles and
money.
goofs.
Just
You should
just
send us money, and we'll
Just,
keep doing this, and your money will go to other things.
Yeah, just send money to us directly. No questions. Just give me specifically
Give me $20.
money.
Or,
online.
we got Steam wish lists. They're out there. Anyways, yeah. It's good. What were some other things in this book that you liked? I liked that personally, and I know probably nobody else is going to say they like this, but I, for one, liked that Corporal Colin got to have a big action sequence. It wasn't a dignified one, but he did get to do a lot in this book, which was very exciting. And he helped solve the mystery a little bit, too.
He got the help.
He got to do a thing.
Good for him.
Good for him.
He didn't just have to be a punchline. I mean, he was mostly a punchline during the whole thing. But he got to do something.
He got
we got to meet wee mad Arthur, who we will see eventually again.
He got kidnapped.
And who is...
Or jumped, at least.
I love that we get confirmation that gnomes exist, and also that they are the angriest people on the face of the earth.
That's great. This is important. It will come up later.
Which makes sense. You ever met, like, a tiny dog? Same principle.
Yeah. Basically same.
I think I'm going to add that particular definition of nut that they use to the weird Britishisms I had to look up for this book count. Because, I'm sorry, wee mad Arthur is trying to nut that bull.
Oh, yeah! Wait, like, I assumed you... Okay, what does it mean in this context, then?
Damn, dog!
Yeah.
It's like headbutting.
Oh, okay. Oh, like your head's a nut. Okay. You're busting...
Conk him on the nut.
Yeah,
He's trying to crack that nut.
Yeah.
Not
I'm going to be honest, I
trying to
didn't
nut
actually
that
look it
bull.
up, but...
I have to assume from context, because the alternative is really not... say for a book that's recommended as all ages.
It is a British. It does explicitly mean headbutt.
Like, this book has a damn 6-inch penis joke in there, among other things. Like,
yeah. God, the amount of work they go to try to humor. They try so hard to humor Nobby, and some of them almost like it.
I don't know. I'm thinking of all this stuff. There's a lot of moments in this Discworld, in this book, that feel very kind of close to what I imagined Discworld as. The characters here feel a lot more formed to the point of who I think of them as. Like, when I think of Vimes, this is the Vimes I think of, with the way that he's an asshole to everyone but the nobility far, far more than anyone else, and always pointed. The entire scene with the bottle of alcohol, him pouring it out.
Yeah.
Like, that is one of the best moments of him in Discworld. Him just getting them all with that and being so mad about it. And the whole quote about, like, no one's willing to help you there's no support group for being a policeman. You show up and go, oh, my name's Samuel Vimes, and I'm a really fucking suspicious bastard.
I think I was like
that's
literally in the
great
paragraph
stuff.
below that too. Like, Vimes is like, I'm gonna need to ask somebody to get the rug in my office replaced. I can't possibly work around the lingering air of departed spirits.
Yes, that is a joke I go back to a lot.
Yeah. God. It's very funny. It's very good. It fits him. Vetinari here is his, like, most... I'm a bastard and I suck, but also I'm absolutely with Vimes in basically every scenario on his side.
He figures out the poison plot well before Vimes does, but he keeps it going so that Vimes has something to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he really wants Vimes to do all this stuff. The whole quote about, like, it occurs to me that if Vimes didn't exist, you would have to create him. Well, I rather think I did. Mm-hmm. Like, that's kind of the Ventinari I know. Ung was, like, being a weird, like, kind of sarcastic asshole, but also wonderful in every way. And, like, Cheery's here. Detritus is good, great. It has all the people that, like, when I think of the Discworld Watch, this is the stuff that I think of.
Yeah, like,
It's kind of the most fully
like that's the
formed
thing.
we've
Like
seen
we
them.
talk a lot about like, oh, Night Watch, good, Night Watch best book, Night Watch, wow. But like the thing about Night Watch is one of the reasons it feels good is because it's a subversion of the formula. This book feels like the blueprint for a watch book, even though it's technically the third one in the series, and even though there will be worse watch books to come, this one is like, oh, here's the waterline, here's the standard. Put a piece of tape up on the wall. There it is.
I'm sure there is an alternate history, and it's not a bad one, but I guess I'm glad that we didn't get it, where Pratchett went on and wrote like 20 more books in this vein of these sort of like Discworld murder mysteries.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's, again, I'm glad he didn't, but it wouldn't necessarily be a dark timeline, because I imagine he could have cranked out a bunch of these and they all still would have been great.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. The fact that he decided to zoom out and explore other corners of the Discworld is a testament to his flexibility.
I mean,
and
the fact that he bounces around so much is a lot of how we've managed to do this podcast this far.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're not doing the same thing every time. We're doing something radically different every time, or at least we're cycling around enough.
It's genuinely, I don't know. This book is so good.
On a related,
it makes me happy. There's a lot of stuff in it that doesn't quite work, but
on a related note to that, there was it was actually during Colin's specific escape sequence where there was like a bit where he's like hanging off the edge of like a roof, and he has to like swing his body around to grab a drain pipe, and he's like, "Oh, this sucks. I'm gonna be a chalk outline. I always wanted to take up exercise. I didn't think it would have to be like right now." And as I was reading it, I was like, "Wow, you know, if this were a book that was written maybe like even just like 2 or 3 books back in the line that we've done, there would be it has to be 1,000,000-to-1 shot joke here." But there isn't. And that amount of restraint, I really respect. Because that joke was getting tired.
He does good.
So,
It's a good.
Speaking of that, did we want to go to the rankings?
Well, I wanted to, before that, I want to say, like, is there anything that we didn't like in this book? Anything, like, I've been like, oh, this is the best book and everything. Is there stuff that y'all were just like, that kind of sucked,
I mean,
or didn't work at all, or
the whole
such?
bit where Vines has this, an imp PDA that's a vessel for, like, Apple Newton jokes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't go anywhere. Okay. That stupid PDA is going to come up again, but you're never going to be happy to see it.
Like, admittedly, the joke about, like, I can recognize handwriting, yep, that's handwriting, was pretty funny, but every other time was like, I'm sure it was funnier in 1996, but like...
it's like, it's very clearly riffing on some contemporary... Okay, Palm Pilots were around by then, I'm pretty sure, because I think my dad was carrying one in 95. I eventually got my hands on it, and, you know, that... I understood these jokes. I understood the kind of person that you would have to be to make use of these kinds of devices, and the weird amount of effort you put into using this thing, thinking it's going to make your life easier, is. I have sympathy for the fact that it was thrust upon him. Mm-hmm. Even though I was the kind of person who carried a PDA up until I started carrying an iPhone. So like, I was the mark, but I understand in hindsight how stupid I was about that.
Yeah. And like, you know, Terry was a huge techie too, so like, it makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
But also like, it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, no, this was all absolutely really specific
personally
jokes.
like I said, like I get why the Nobby bit was in there. I think that whole subplot could have gone on a little bit shorter, because it really was like, it did feel like the jokes were getting kind of repetitive. And also like it felt unstuck in time, because there was like lots of shit happening while Nobby was in this one party, and that was kind of confusing. That was weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's the sort of thing where, like, the fact that this is weird and uncomfortable is itself part of the point, and I understand that, but you're still making me read stuff that's, like, weird and uncomfortable.
Yeah, because a lot of it
So,
is
like,
the same jokes he always does about Nabi, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have some sympathy for the character of Nabi, but I don't necessarily enjoy reading about him.
I like the payoff of the joke, but the joke itself.
Yeah, the setup is too long for the payoff. It's too much of
Yeah.
a Shaggy Dog story, if we're talking pure joke craft.
Yeah. There's a bunch of random little bits in the book that were just like, oh, right. Every once in a while it reminded me that, yeah, he did write Interesting Times 2 books before this. Yeah, I forgot. I almost forgot about that.
Again, there's a hell of a lot of casual racism that... it's all serving a greater point. I understand that. There is meaning behind the fact that these people are being shitty to their fellow people. It also means that it's more asterisks that I gotta put on this book. I don't remember if this was me remembering things, but god damn, it took too long for them to figure out it was the candles.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that might have just been, though, like, I felt that way too, but thinking about it, I think I might have just felt that way because I've read the book before and was waiting for the reveal to happen. Like, where are you? Where are you?
Yeah, like, I've looked at everything on this table, but I haven't noted... If there's a
to be fair,
lamp on your desk, you know there's a lamp on your desk.
Yeah. And if they're refreshing the candles every day, then it's like, well, that's hard to make it consistent. You wouldn't be able to, like, it's hard to poison one candle. You would have to work at the factory to do that, to steadily do it over time. So, like, I could see how it would take them a while to figure it out, because that's like a lot of layers of... That's a real Rube Goldberg contraption way to murder somebody.
I liked that it was the candle. I thought it felt like... I didn't know what the mystery was. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
Okay. It is kind of funny how, like, the actual reason that the whole scheme falls apart is that by pure coincidence, the murderous golem is working in the candle factory. There is no other reason why that golem was there. It was just where he got dropped off, and they said, okay, buy this golem from us. And it was because it did, in fact, create some clues that eventually led everyone there. But that's what cracked the case.
It would have been the perfect crime if they had thought about the golem as a person and not just a tool.
Okay, yeah, it's like, no, not even that. If they had just employed or got some fucking oxen to do it, like apparently most people do.
Yeah.
Like, it...
But, you know, if you involve more people, then that's more chances for the secret to get out. And golems can't talk, so maybe it's fine.
But, like...
Maybe it's fine.
Further on top of that, again, the golem was pushed on him. He never specifically... Okay, he apparently was in the market for them, but, like, it's not a crime to say, hey, does anyone have one of these things lying around? But, and then, you know, it's like the golems show up and they're so desperate to get rid of it that they give it away for like $30 or something, which they immediately... Oh, right! I fucking hated that bit! I hated that the golem turns around, gives money to the beggar, and the beggar promptly gets himself killed because he apparently doesn't know what to do with $30.
Yeah, what was that about?
Like, what the shit was that?
That's like old Ankh-Morpork joke.
Yeah. Like, the notion that if you give a panhandler money that they're going to immediately go die because they don't know what to do with money, because that's why they're poor or whatever.
A little bit of that real world. Well, I'm pretty bad off, but at least I'm not that guy.
Yeah, again, and I'm reading too far into it, I'm sure. It was just... There is humor value in, like, this guy ended up on the other end of the world, and also dead. But it really just reads as the poor don't know what to do with a sudden influx of money.
Yeah, it definitely seems ill thought at the least. I don't know. There were moments like that, but on the whole, the book worked so well as both a story and also as what I wanted it to be. I'm really happy with it. And also, it's so fucking mad at rich people.
Yeah.
I cannot stress this enough. Vines hates rich people in this book so much, and that's what I want from Discworld.
Yeah.
So, fuck yeah. I want it to just fucking hate the rich as much as possible.
Hell yeah. Fucking get them.
good.
But yeah,
So yeah, I was mad.
let's go to the
Also,
big...
what was your favorite joke from the book?
I have a couple.
Oh,
That's a tough
no,
one.
hold on. I queued that one up ahead of time. Let me just get this turned back on.
I got
I do have a favorite footnote that might
go for
work.
No, go
There's
for it.
we've already talked about some of my favorite jokes, but here's one. During the big livestock escape sequence, there's a sentence about the bull that's staring down Colin. Rogers, the bulls, were angry and bewildered, which it counts as the basic state of mind for full-grown bulls. Footnote. Because of the huge obtrusive mass of his forehead, Rogers the bull's view of the universe was from two eyes, each with their own non-overlapping hemispherical view of the world. Since there were two separate visions, Rogers had reasoned, that meant there must be two bulls, bulls not having been bred for much deductive reasoning. Most bulls believe this, which is why they always keep turning their head this way and that way they look at you. They do this because both of them want to see. Which is a very cute joke.
Yeah.
But it also precedes one of my least favorite parts of the book, which is that cows have a religion that involves slaughterhouses being like the promised land, which, as a pescatarian, that sucked a little bit, but that's just personal taste. I don't think we should be trying to justify consuming animals for humor.
Look at it this way. From that cow's perspective, every cow it's ever seen leave its life just went through that door and never came back.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any context to know that what happened there. It is, I guess, perfectly reasonable for it to assume that something is happening in there that's so wonderful that the cow never wants to leave. But
yeah, it hit me weird.
yeah,
but
that's
just a me thing.
Yeah, no,
That's
I
just a me
get
thing.
it. I get it.
But I like that footnote. That was a cute footnote.
Yeah.
A lot of weird shit about the whole the pronouns and shit
Yeah,
in this book. And that was another weird, interesting peccadillo of pronoun.
Cows are by default plural.
Yes.
It's
Just the way they are. All right. Mine was much earlier in the book when Angua is first asking Dorfel about the murders. He says, how come you... Let's see here. Sorry. He, the priest, has been murdered. Where were you when he was killed? Dorfel wrote, in the slaughterhouse. How do you know? Dorfel hesitated a moment. Then the next words were written very slowly, as if they come from a long way away after a great deal of thought. Because it is something that must have happened not long ago, because you were excited for the last 3 days I have been working here. All the time? Yes. 24 hours a day? Yes. Men and trolls here on every shift. They will tell you during the day I must slaughter, dress, quarter, joint, and bone. And at night, without rest, I must make sausages and boil up the livers, hearts, tripes, kidneys, and chitterlings. That's awful, said Cheery. The pencil blurred briefly. Close.
what a terrible
What
pun.
tish.
I think I mentioned one of my favorite jokes earlier, but the other ones would be so when Vine meets Cheery for the first time, when she's doing her interview, she's my name is Cheery Littlebottom, and like Vines doesn't react. Everyone else like laughs or something, and so Cheery kind of pushes her luck a bit. She goes, and my father is Jolly Littlebottom, and so on. Vines doesn't react until after she leaves, and then he puts his coat over his head, closes the door, and like laughs into the trash. He's like, ah, Cheery Littlebottom. I thought that was good. When Venar is poisoned,
I think I don't know if it's my favorite joke in the book, but I think my most groaner joke in the entire book was when Pratchett does what he constantly does, which is follows up a deeply meaningful moment of like genuine like beautiful writing with the world's worst fucking reference. Following up the words in the heart cannot be taken with we can rebuild him.
Yeah.
We have the clay.
We have the pottery.
Fucking, we have the pottery. I was like,
there was
come on.
Yeah.
Come the fuck on.
okay.
You fucker.
When Venar is poisoned for the first time, someone says, get a stool sample, and then Detritus shows up with a wooden chair and says, well, we could break the back off of this if we need to. And finally, when Vimes goes to Cockbill Street for the first time, he sees a hopscotch board, and he's thinking about, what was that rhyme we used to do as kids? It's on the tip of my tongue. And then he sees the funeral happen, and he's talking to this lady, and he's like, offering consolation, and and he's like, oh yeah, but by the way, while I'm here, and it's working up to like he knows like he's gonna ask something like really like fucking impolite to ask at a funeral, especially for a cop to ask someone at a funeral while they're clearly in mourning, and it's building up and it's building up, and you think he's gonna ask something about the murder, how she died, and he asks like, what was that? Do you know the rhyme the children sing when they do hopscotch? It's been on the tip of my tongue all day.
It's kind of a Columbo moment, frankly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
God. I was gonna say that I just remembered the bit where they're trying to test the food for poison, and they bring the dumbwaiter up with the they're like, well, what if somebody got to like, I can't find the exact passage. They're like, what if somebody got to the food on a different floor? So they send the dumbwaiter up, and there's like a dwarf hiding in the dumbwaiter along with the dinner with like a pair of axes and a knife in his teeth. And Vetinari's like, oh, good heavens. I hope you at least got me some ketchup to go with that. Which is cute. Also, I forgot that before we get to the ranking and shit, I wanted to mention that I really love the new addition to the gang of Constable Visit, who is an entire Small Gods reference in that he's an Omnian, but one, he only proselytizes through like trying to give people like pamphlets and shit about how cool Omnism is, and two, he is extremely educated in religious theory, because it's like that's the thing with Omnians now, is they need to learn about every religion on Earth, and also like explain from a academic and theological viewpoint why other people's religions are interesting, but ultimately flawed in comparison with Omnianism, which is just great. Like the whole shit that Bruda laid down in Small Gods, there's like a character who's like, yeah, this is how it is. This is how we interact with my religion. And like pairing him up with Dorfel at the end of the book is so good.
It's the moment of Constable Visit being like, oh my god, someone else wants the pamphlets is so fucking funny.
Spends the entire book like avoiding reading his pamphlets, and then he finally has someone to talk to.
Yeah. I mean, he won't, he's an atheist, so he won't necessarily say yes, but it's an exciting conversation.
I need
climbing a rock wall.
Right?
Yeah, you see, that's like they keep saying atheist. He's an agnostic because he's very willing to entertain the idea if somebody can demonstrate to him that a god exists. And that is even funnier because like even in this book, one of the gods just fucking hits him with a lightning bolt. He just kind of looks up and goes, that wasn't much of an argument. And then just goes along with his day.
The only reason I wanted to say that's one of the best jokes is because I've already seen it so many times. I've always loved that for so long. I don't know how to appreciate something that's just been there forever.
Okay, one more thing. There's when Colin he wanders into the candle factory and gets captured and tied up in the other room, and he's like, okay, come on, the string around my hands is really tight. I just need like a sharp nail or something to cut it on. And the narration goes into this whole thing about like, well, people are always, whenever someone is kidnapped, the kidnappers usually throw them into a room with all sorts of sharp things where they can make their escape, or sometimes enough spare parts to build a fully working armored car, which is a fucking A-Team joke.
Yeah, that's ratchet.
Okay, no, I've got one other bit here that I want from the very tail end. So I'm sorry, we're realizing how many good jokes were in this book.
No, I love this.
But there's one bit right at the end where Vetinari is debriefing Vimes after the mystery is solved, and he's just going over all the stuff that happens and references back from when Vimes was pretending to be drunk. It's like, did you really punch the head of the Assassin's Guild in the nose? Vimes like, yeah. It's like, why did you do that? Because I didn't have a dagger.
Yeah.
And Vetinari just immediately turns around. It's like they're not saying it, but it's very obvious that he's hiding his face because he's probably got this just horrible snigger on his face at the moment.
Yeah, that was really good.
Oh yeah.
I love the whole bit of Vibes being like, I've taken their opinion under careful consideration and I've come to a conclusion. arseholes to the lot of them. Just like, fuck them all.
Or even like,
so good.
Like Vetnari said, described like, Vimes, everyone's mad at you. Like, all the guild, all the heads of all the guilds, all the rich people, all the nobles, they're all pissed off at you. So I'm giving you a raise.
Or the entire thing of him walking into the chambers, just leaving an axe on the table of, don't do the fucking king thing again.
Yeah.
We solved it once, we'll do it again, you motherfuckers. Don't fucking do it.
It's there. Just saying.
More importantly,
for thought.
he got
So
to
Fun little conversation piece.
yeah, he got to vandalize a room that nobody liked anyways.
Yeah, which... It's weird that was a Star Chamber joke, but it was like... The L-Space annotation said the Rat Chamber was a joke on, like, 3 things.
Yeah, the Star Chamber was a place for, I believe it was like the House of... It was in Westminster in London. It was a place for like the House of Commons members to like meet to discuss trade stuff or something like that. So it's like a very specific reference to a British
It was
thing.
also like if you were like rich and powerful, if you were like a noble or something, but you were in trouble, you were accused of a crime, they would drag you into the Star Chamber to be tried.
Yeah.
But it's also like a weird Rat King joke.
A room of ill portent. Well, it's Discworld, so it's like our world, but a little wackier.
Rat Kings happen, just, not quite
Rat
like that.
Kings will happen.
Yeah.
We'll see more of them later in Discworld.
The only king I'll respect is a bunch of rats that got their tails stuck together.
Apparently it happens with other tailed creatures like squirrels, too.
I respect rats
Squirrel King.
so much.
Yeah.
Rat appreciator.
I love rats. They're the best.
Rest in peace, buddies.
I miss our rats. One day we'll get another small mammal pet, and it will be so good. I'm going to post so many fucking photos. But yeah, so unless there are no further objections, let's move on to the ranking. This is a good book. Would we say that it is better or worse than the top-ranked book on our list belonging to the Watch series, Men at Arms, which is currently
it's
sitting at
better.
number 3?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
we are very, very lucky that the top book is another Watch book, because that makes this so much easier.
That's not the top book.
Well, that's
the
not
third
top
book.
book. I was going to say,
sorry.
there's 2 books,
You're right,
2
you're
books
right.
above that.
Fuck.
Would you say this book is
Fuck.
better or worse than Reaper Man?
Oh, fuck.
Yeah,
It's better.
I can say that.
I don't want to. I don't
wasn't-
want to say yes, but unfortunately, I'm under a truth compulsion spell right now, so I have to say yes.
Yeah. Okay. I agree
Strange
with that.
reason to say yes, but fair.
What about our number 1 on the list? Small
Yeah,
Gods.
I would say it's better than Small Gods.
Yeah, it's better. I like it more than all of those books. It's. I can see the argument for Reaper Man because the highs of Reaper Man are just that high, just that great at points. The moment of What Hope Has the Harvest, but for the care of the Reaper Man is still like
Fucking perfect.
one of my favorite Discworld points ever. But like on the whole, I liked every part of this book so much. There wasn't a single part that I was like,
Yeah,
maybe some of the knobby stuff, but even then, that was often like part of the mystery at
Yeah.
least. I don't have many complaints about this.
The fact
It
that
just
this is such a
worked
tightly
really well.
wound book really,
that's-
really
Yeah.
sells it. Like, I could give this, not that this is the sole criteria of what we're ranking by, but I feel like you could give this book to somebody and be like, okay, start here with Discworld to get a good idea of what the vibe is.
Yeah.
And
Why
that's
What
people
the
love
Vines
it.
is,
Yeah.
if you will.
and what the Vimes is. Yeah.
Do it for the Vimes.
Oh god, these are terrible.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So
I honestly expected you to push back harder on this one, Iris.
Personally, Small Gods was really, really important to me. And it's a really,
Same.
really good book. It's a
Same.
emotionally weighty book. I think that while Small Gods would probably go over Feet of Clay if this were a podcast that only had me on it, it's not, and that wouldn't be objective. I think that looking at it from a distance, Feet of Clay has just as much to say as Small Gods does. And I think that maybe with the labor angle, and with the gender too, even if it was unintentional, I think that maybe it even has a little bit. It's on the same level. Like it's not like miles ahead of Small Gods, but the fact that it's so tightly wound and so much better constructed, like there's bits in Small Gods that definitely fucking drag their asses, and like bits that are not necessary. This book was very well put together. So I gotta default to putting it above it. Is the thing, I think.
Yeah, there isn't really a part of this book where I'm like, oh, well, I mean, this part was so awful. There were some bad jokes, and the Navi part went on too long, but even those were just kind of small parts of the whole. And in terms of it trying to actually be about something, actually do something with its story, like, this is one of my favorite Discworld books. It does. It wants to tell a story about gender and robots and class politics and how much you should hate the upper class at all opportunities. Like, it's fucking good. I love this one. Yeah. That's my argument for it at the top. I don't know what's going to unseat it, but I imagine something will eventually.
Yeah,
well,
eventually.
Everyone keeps talking about Jingo. It must be really good. You all seem like you're looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
I
can't wait.
Sure be a thing.
I mean, look, I already lost the battle when Reaper Man got unseated, so I don't have much else to say, I guess. Like
no, I mean, if you have an argument, feel free.
No. Look, first of all, those are already settled. I can't argue facts. I'm saying that I've already had my favorite unseated, so I'm going to be a little bit faster to do it in the future because I don't have that extra secret motivation, let's say.
Okay.
And that's why I was saying I was expecting you to push back harder against Small Gods getting unseated, because I am a very petty woman.
Oh, but that's what we love about you.
And we love you for it. Absolutely.
I promise I wasn't fishing, big. But yeah. I said petty, not petite.
Petty.
You can do petty crimes while being very large.
If I was smarter, I'd have a really great joke there.
We'll put that in at our number one spot. Feet of Clay currently taking the top rank on the Discover's official ranking, but maybe not for long. We have other classics headed down the pike towards us. Next episode, we are covering Hogfather.
Oh, I'm excited for this one.
Technically, I mean, at first we were like, oh, we could do Hogfather in time for the holidays. But you know what? This book and its Jewish origins are just in time for Hanukkah. So happy Festival of Lights for all who celebrate. Yours is truly a better holiday than Christmas because it's longer and it has better food involved. We will get to Hogfather in January, after which we will do Jingo. And then I think after that is The Last Continent. And then after that, oh baby, I think that's when we get to the truth, right? And the truth is great. So
yeah, I think
that'll be
after
something
that,
to look forward to.
A bunch of great stuff, especially because The Last Continent is the last Rincewind book.
Yeah. But Fifth Elephant, Thief of Time, we got some bangers on the way, basically. After we get over the hurdle of the next two books. Don't worry, I don't think we have to worry, or the next three books. Hogfather's okay. I'm excited to revisit it because I remember it being fine, but yeah. We also have some fan mail if you'd like to hear some of that, actually.
Congratulations to Feet, by the way.
A lot of comments. Yes. Actually, that's one of the topics of some comments. From our recurring fan mail enthusiast, Jace. Jace says, hey, y'all. I think we can all agree that Christine from Masquerade was trans, right? Right. She was truly a hot bimbo who is performing gender to a T, but sadly for her, she couldn't sing. Consider if folk punk existed on the disc, the true genre for trans women with vocal fry. Yours truly, Jace. P.S. I know it's too late to warn of this. Be careful with those foot kink jokes and talking about Feet of Clay. The more you joke about a kink, the more likely you are to gain it. P.P.S. A comedic hypno story about using comedy to give a victim a fetish? Is that something?
Yes.
Could be something. Friend, I have good news about Princess Grace's output now on AO3. Fantastic erotica designed to amuse and arouse.
Please, if you, dear listener, are curious about the Princess Grace erotic comedy experience, check it out at princess.software or perfect.hypnovir.us, or yes, I am cross-posted to AO3 still.
Yes. That's great.
Good thoughts.
I love the idea of Christine, trans folk punk icon, the Laura Jane Grace of the Discworld. That would kick ass.
Yeah, it's she's in the long category of characters who it would be very fun to see something slightly more of a bit more of that character, but instead they just end up one-offs, unfortunately.
If only
There's a letter from
if only Sir Terry had lived long enough to experience the rise of 100 geeks in black dresses and write a book about trans femme hyperpop musicians.
God.
He would have, though. He was in those sorts of weird scenes. He absolutely would have, listened to that. Oh, God. We would have had a 100 gex joke, and it would have been someone with 100 geckos. It would have been great.
Yeah.
PC music, more like PU music if you ask me. Hey-o! We also got a letter from Brendan. Terry, about interesting times. Terry Pratchett is usually so good at presenting social issues in a way that can be called accessible or possibly elementary, but always earnestly, so I'm shocked he fumbled so badly here. Eating dog jokes. This is Jay Leno level racism. I guess I'm glad he didn't research extremely niche racism, though. It's almost like he's dumping his worst impulses into a book about a character he has emotionally abandoned. Maybe. We'll see about The Last Continent. P.S. Bad news. I went back to a couple weeks after 9/9/99 and played the vampire block moving with some combat game Soul Reaver. Previously, it was my roommate that played it. In this timeline, I never went into the game industry, so David Cage survived past 2004. After that, it's all butterfly effect to the current hell world. Sorry, love the pod. I'm sorry you didn't get your chance to assassinate David Cage.
Thank you so much for picking up that brick joke. I feel so much better now.
Okay, not just you. There's another email from Zians that says, I got that Soul Reaver joke. Honestly, I sat stunned for a few seconds because I had finished Cult of the Lamb without realizing that fact. Thanks to the minor mind blow moment. Title of email is, I'm a rev ahead.
I thought there was a way to find the Soul Reaver fans in the crowd.
Oh, that's good. So yeah, if you'd like to send us some fan mail about your experiences reading Feet of Clay or any of Terry's other books, or you just want to say hi and tell us that we're very cool and sexy, you can send an email to disc@hypnovir.us. That's DISC @HYPNOVIR.us. Easy to remember. You've been listening to Disc Coverers, the internet's, well, not the only Discworld podcast on the internet, but we're one of them. I'd hesitate to say we're one of the better ones. Or no, I wouldn't hesitate to say that. I would say that immediately. I'd get in your face and shout it. I'm Iris J. You can find me online at irisj.net or at irisjcomics on co-host, Mastodon. I'm on Tumblr again now, just because I am. I'm on Pillow Fort as well. And I'm still on Twitter for as long as it exists, I guess. It's looking bleak out there right now for Twitter. I think if I have to recommend a thing this week, oh shit. I'm probably gonna say, I'm worried some of you are gonna recommend this too, but I've really gotta say, Vampire Survivors, fucking amazing game. They just came out with some new DLC that's only $1. The game itself is only $5. You really owe it to yourself. It doesn't require Twitch reflexes or anything. It's got a lot of little funny bits in it. It's very addictive to play. And it's just it's been a real pleasure to see a game that is flash game as hell.
yeah.
We were talking about this earlier before the show. It's flash game as hell in the most positive way. And it ranks among my favorite games of this year, unexpectedly, above much more elaborate and higher budget games. And I hope that proves to a lot of people that, like, yeah, you don't need to, like, make something a massive production. You can just make it fun. It's cool. There's no vampires in it, though. Very odd.
You're trying to survive the vampire.
That's true. Maybe you're the vampire. It's unclear. Did I recommend Vampire Survivors on this show already?
Like, two of the characters are like Alucard and a gender bent Alucard.
I think one of the jokes is that there actually aren't any vampires in the game.
Yeah, no. It's a running gag that they're trying to find one. Yes.
Yeah. They can't find
one of the
any
bullet
vampires.
points for the DLC, which just tiny clarification. It's like $2 if you didn't buy it bundled with the game. Or it might be, at least it's $2 on Steam. It might be at different prices elsewhere. Whatever. I'm just putting the little tiny disclaimers on there, like for some kind of medical podcast. But as somebody who has 100%ed it, at least as of the DLC, no vampires. But the DLC has there we go. The DLC has a bullet point that it may or may not contain vampires. Which is weird because you're leaving Italy and going to Japan for that one, so.
Well, I mean, that would be, you might think that there wouldn't be any vampires there, and that's what makes it the perfect place to hide. That was the whole plot of 30 Days of Night, because they're like, yo, Alaska gets, it's dark half the year. Know what could be great there? Dracula's, baby.
Makes sense.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yes, very
Sorry.
wise.
No. Sometimes there's just something where you're just like, yeah, that's a pretty good.
Yes.
The Thing remake, but it's a vampire movie.
Oh, yeah, baby.
I'm Juniper. You can find me online on Twitter at Juniper Theory, on, I believe, the co-host also as Juniper Theory, or did I make a different username there? Yeah, no, just Juniper Theory. Hopefully, and this will hopefully be in the show notes, doing another podcast specifically about Netrunner lore. It's finally happening. We recorded it.
Oh, what did you call it? What did you call it?
Oh, I'm so hype about that.
Oh God, it is called. This only makes sense to people who actually play Netrunner and have seen the newest set. It is called Super Deep Lorehole.
Perfect. Great.
Because there is a card in the new set called Super Deep Borehole.
Oh, I love that. Okay,
yeah.
no, that's brilliant. I love it.
Yeah, it's terrible. I was pressured to do it by my co-hosts, by which I mean it's a good name.
Okay, okay. Just for the benefit of the audience, June was agonizing over what to call it.
Yeah.
So,
it's going to be really good. I'm really excited. Netrunner's the coolest game ever made. I constantly don't recommend it because it is a permanent recommendation. Instead, I'll recommend... What did I recommend last time? I don't even remember. I don't know.
I kind of thought you were going to recommend Dorfort or something.
I've been playing it constantly. Yeah, I'll recommend Dwarf Fortress. It's fantastic. Exactly as good as it seems. I've made a fortress and there's one small angry child who is ruining my entire fort, and I am desperately trying to atomize him with a drawbridge, and I can't get him to stand at the right place to do so. So instead I'm wasting my time building a hole to the center of the earth that has a giant spiral Mad God style staircase.
Excellent.
I'll also recommend Mad God. Go watch Mad God. It's a good movie.
People kept joking that Dwarf Fortress is such a big game that it contains all other games inside of it. I didn't realize how true that was until you talking about this made me realize that you are just trying to play a Hitman level here with a child.
Yes. I definitely
there is no possible way that they didn't make a way to put NAND gates in there. So
No, you can do programming. Okay. It's hard because it's Dwarf Fortress, but you can.
It's Dwarf Fortress, so of course it's going to be a pain in the butt. But I wouldn't be. I mean, it's a game programmed by mathematicians. I would not have been surprised if there wasn't literally a structure you could build called a NAND gate.
Also, what did I recommend last time?
You recommended the band Soul Glow.
Oh yeah, no. Well, in that if I recommended Soul Glow last time, I also have to say, go watch Boshi the Rap. It's incredible.
God damn it!
It's the best anime of the past while.
That was absolutely what I was going to recommend. So
You could do it. You could do it. I just threw it out there. You could do it. Go ahead, Belina.
I'm going to say Belina recommended Bocchi the Rock because you already recommended 2 things.
Yeah, I always do too many.
No. Anyways. Hi, I'm still Belina. I'm always feel like I'm putting myself on the spot here, but no, I legitimately we've been watching Bocchi the Rock. It's an anime about some girl that has deep social anxiety. So she wanted to become popular, so she decided she'd learn the guitar. But then she accidentally spent like 3 years doing literally nothing but learning the guitar. But she's still a horribly anxious dork. So she kind of gets recruited into a band, and it's all a bunch of deeply painful, like, for everyone who grew up being deeply socially anxious and just couldn't bring themselves to talk to anybody and always had the worst case scenarios running through your head, which unfortunately is probably like 95% of our audience. You're going to sort of like inwardly cringe at Bocchi trying to get through everything, but there's catharsis, thank God, and it does so much fun stuff with the animation.
Yeah, I will say it's also, I've seen other stuff like it, and often those things are so mean to the main character, like, oh wow, look at what a loser you are, unable to like do anything, such a thing. And this is actually really kind in a lot of interesting ways. It has a lot of love for her character in an interesting way. And also, I cannot stress, the animation is
incredible.
Wild.
It's one of those times where it's like wildly better than the source material, which is good because the source material was a bunch of 4-coma gags. But yeah, like the animation's great, and more importantly, everybody is rooting for Bocchi. Like we're what, like 9 episodes in at this point, and like it has gotten to the point where most of the team realizes when she's having her episodes and is actively trying to help put her back together. It's kind of worrying to realize that all those breakdowns she's having are diegetic, and I don't.
They're very kind to her, which is very nice.
That's why part of why it works is like, oh, okay, well, we better help out. We know what happens when she gets like this.
I would compare the animation to Pop Team Epic, if that means anything to you.
Yeah, it's really good animation. Also, the music in it is... There's some, like, fucking banger tracks in there, too.
The one thing that the anime doesn't do that the manga did was the manga, like every issue or whatever, started with a recreation of some other Japanese rock group's album covers, just redone with the Bocchi characters. And there are obvious reasons why they can't do that in an anime, because the licensing becomes 10 times more difficult. But like if you go and like you go to like Mangadex, or I'm sorry, I didn't actually mention any of these by names because I certainly don't condone piracy, especially about things that you can't buy in the US. But if you go read these, most of the fan translators do have a thing like on the last page they show you what what cover is being referenced and how they adapted it over to the Bocchi characters. And it's an excellent little touch, and there's a lot of very deep love for the music scene that it's portraying. And even if it's not a scene that I'm into, it's very you can feel the love radiating off of it.
I gotta keep needling my friends at 7 Seas to pick that up as a localized thing. By the way, Kel, I know you're listening.
Begging
Y'all should get Bocchi the Rock and localize it.
Please.
That would be so cool. Also, it's weird because the characters are all still named after members of the band Asian Kung Fu Generation. They kept that in the anime,
I didn't know that.
But that's fine. Oh, yeah, fact. But yeah, fucking great show. Really good.
I have been the internet's beloved Princess Grace. You can find my writing, programs, podcast posts, and pornography, and everything else that's fit to plug at princess.software.
No, I'm sorry. I comment every time on how you always have that ready to go. The way that you delivered it this time, you kind of had this bit like you were revving up an engine until you really got going there. Like you'd been sitting idle too long and you had to like turn the starter engine first.
Yeah, one of those newer cars that shuts the engine off when you're stopped at a stoplight.
Oh yeah, no. I play a hybrid online. I understand.
Machine girl.
Yeah, like I will admit that like I kept reading this book and thinking like, oh yeah, this is. activating some robot kidney feelings. I was thinking about Solitaire the whole time. Yeah.
I picked a really weird time to suddenly start seeing the. Look, I'm back on Mastodon again, and that means that I'm reading stuff from people that I don't follow on Twitter, and I have fallen down such a doll posting hole.
Oh, doll posting! One of the best things in Mastodon.
Look, I'm not going to recommend it because it's a very specific acquired taste, but look, Wintergreen, you're amazing. I am so glad that I've gotten to see your stuff. You're utterly fantastic.
Yeah. Come on the pod sometime. Bring your witch. It'll be fun.
Again, we need excuses for guest stars, damn it. But yeah, no, just the fact that I get deep into this hole to the point that I've got like my own drafts of stuff sitting off to the side, and then I pick this up and go, oh right, this is the one about golems. The universe is fucking with me. Open parentheses, affectionate.
And it's good. I love this book.
Yeah.
Did you want to recommend anything, Grace?
See, I think I've already recommended like Akiba Maid War, which is I think probably one of my top animes of the season. So because it's getting to be around the holidays, Die Hard's still pretty good. Like I hate to be a Die Hard as a Christmas movie, but I'm wearing a fucking sweater that says it right now. I don't necessarily earnestly believe it, but like it's a good movie. I watch it every year around this time as an excuse. Like it does have these rancid Reagan era politics, but it's also just really fun.
Die Hard is having seen it for a couple of Christmases. Die Hard is my current standard for if you're gonna be like a horrible political movie that kind of is deeply conservative in this awful way. You have to at least be this fun to watch, this much of a good, entertaining movie, and it is. It is the standard because it's really fun to watch.
It's a stone cold classic.
Anyone who watched it. Anyone who was there when we watched it the other night knows that I spend most of the movie reciting the lines to myself.
Oh, I'm so sorry I couldn't be there.
That was us with
I'm sorry. I wish I had caught that.
Yeah, we watched Muppet Christmas Carol the other night, and literally me and my girlfriend were just on mute so that we could sing the entire movie and quote most of it.
Aww. Yeah. That's cute.
I used to do voice training by practicing $600 billion in unmarked bearer bonds. $600 billion in negotiable bearer bonds you have locked in your vault.
That's a good voice training line. Shit. All right. Well, thank you for joining me, my delightful co-hosts, and thank you for listening, dear listeners. Join us next time when we review Hogfather. Until then, have a joyous holiday season and a happy new year.
Truly, they were
feet of clay, and maybe.
Oh yeah, I guess
maybe
clay.
Feet of gay.
Question mark?
Terrible.
I mean, okay, look, he's got masculine pronouns. Visit's got masculine pronouns. So sure, yeah, we're already rooting for a gay romance here.
Someone draw this before we turn off the podcast.
I think love can bloom.
Religion, boys. One of them's always hard. That's hot.
You think love can bloom?
Even in the middle of a Reddit slash.
Yeah.
I think especially.
I can't even finish it.
He's a Reddit atheist, and they're going to be in our relationship post one day, and I love them for it.
Oh,
love wins.
Beautiful. All right, love wins. I'm stopping the recording.
Thank you all. Always a pleasure.